So, the Everest rescue helicopter pilots. These guys are very brave. They have a lot of exciting things to do, and they save lives. And as the article continues, we learn their missions are the focus of Discovery's show Everest Rescue. Everest Rescue is the name of the show. And yeah, the missions. A mission is basically when a pilot or someone in the military, in the army, goes out to do a job. That one job that they often have to travel to go and do is their mission. So go up there and rescue 2 guys with broken legs. Yes, sir. That's your mission. That's your job for the day.
Our article tells us about this show.
Okay.
It says 42-year-old Ryan Skorecki is the newest helicopter pilot to join the rescue team.
Not Ryan Skorecki.
You know him?
No.
Oh.
Just saying.
Okay.
Ryan Skorecki. Okay.
I like his
so
last name.
he's the newest member. Wow. So he's already 42, but he just joined the team. Amazing. So what is a rescue team?
A rescue team is a team of people who rescue or save people from danger.
Yeah.
And we call these people rescuers.
That's right. You might be a rescuer after an earthquake, right? The people who go into the buildings that fall down, those are also rescuers trying to save people from a dangerous situation.
Just now in our article, we saw the 2 words together, rescue team. Do you guys see? There's 2 nouns together, rescue and team. Well, the first noun, rescue, is actually acting as an adjective. And sometimes we see words together like basketball coach or car shop. What else? Fruit store. These are 2 nouns together, and the first noun is an adjective. And we always put the noun as an adjective before the main noun. For example, we wouldn't say team rescue, we would say rescue team.
Wow, so this is a very exciting new job and a big challenge for even a skilled pilot like Ryan Skorecki. Let's find out what happens. It says on his first day, so he's just new in the job, on his first day, he receives an emergency call about an American climber who's in critical condition at Everest Base Camp. Wow, so there's all the important information he needs. Of course, this is an emergency. Whenever you call someone, whenever you shout, help, help, save me, it's probably an emergency. This noun is spelled E-M-E-R-G-E-N-C-Y, emergency. An emergency is basically a very serious, dangerous situation, right? Police might be involved, firefighters might be involved, people going to the hospital might be involved in an emergency because it's not something where you can waste time. It's not something where you can really stop and go, what should we do here? Because it's really important. It's happening now and people could get hurt. For example, the firefighters heard the bell, jumped in their trucks and rushed to the emergency. They didn't stop off and have some donuts and then do a bit of shopping and then, you know, find a good place to park the truck. No, they drive right there, wee, 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 because it's an emergency. I guess they don't do the wee, wee on the helicopter.
No, maybe if they have if it's a rescue helicopter, maybe, do they?
Because you're going really loud, so no one would hear the wee, wee, wee. Anyways, all right.
If a person is in critical condition, it means they are so ill that they might die.
It's an emergency.
A person in critical condition usually stays in the intensive care unit or the ICU of a hospital.
Could be an accident, of course, you know, car crash, a fire, but also if someone has a heart attack, if, you know, someone gets really sick all of a sudden and it could kill them, that would be another kind of emergency. The person could be in critical condition. What happened to this guy? Did he fall? Did he get hit by a rock? Let's find out. It says it's believed that the man is having a heart attack. So he's just having problems with his heart. No, you know, no bears or monsters or rocks. It's his heart. And he could die if he doesn't receive medical aid. As we explained, you're very high. There's very little oxygen. Your heart is working much harder than it normally would. So even if you're sitting down up there, your heart would be beating like you just run a race or something like that. And for someone who's a little bit older or got problems, that could be a medical emergency. Medical, it's an adjective. It's spelled M-E-D-I-C-A-L, medical. Medical is the adjective we use to talk about being sick, hospitals, medicine, nurses, doctors, things like that. All of those things are sort of surrounded by this big word, medical. A hospital is a medical facility. A doctor or a nurse, they are medical professions, and the things they use to cut you open or fix you, this is medical equipment. It's all to do with getting better. For example, we could say the medical department of the university has been growing for 100 years. It's a big medical school where doctors go and learn.
Next, our article says, to save him, Ryan must take his helicopter, good, 18,000 feet in the air, higher than he's ever flown.
Wow, that is quite high.
So he's never flown 18,000 feet.
Now a jet, like if you're flying to America, that's around 30,000 feet. So this is more than half as high as one of those airplanes go. That's pretty high up there.
Very high.
So emergency rescue pilot Ryan Skarecki has a real challenge here. He's flying a helicopter very, very high. But remember, he's not just flying it up there in the sky in the middle of nowhere. He's flying near some of the tallest mountains in the world, and that creates all sorts of crazy weather. As we read, it says, Ryan battles heavy winds. There's winds blowing off the mountain from all directions, but he manages to land the helicopter. Yay, good job, Ryan. When you manage to do something, that means you do it, you are successful, you got the job done. But it gives us the idea that it was difficult. It was a difficult thing to do. You could have failed. Things could have gone wrong, but they didn't. You did it. You managed to get a really good mark on a really difficult test. You managed to drive your scooter home through a heavy rainstorm without having an accident. Something like that. It's not easy to do those things. You would never, for example, say, well, I managed to go to the 7-Eleven and buy an ice cream. Whew, because that's an easy thing to do. No, if you manage to swim to the 7-Eleven in a typhoon and buy an ice cream, then you might manage to do something because you were successful at a difficult task or job. So Ryan gets up there, he lands the helicopter at the Everest base camp, which is super way high up in the mountains. And then what happens? What happens? What happens?
When Ryan sees the man in critical condition, our article says he realizes that the man is suffering from altitude sickness. Altitude sickness. And needs to quickly reach a lower point on the peak.
He's too high, no oxygen. The heart's working too hard. The heart starts to have problems because it's pumping away. So the best thing to do, yes, is to bring them down the mountain, down to a lower altitude or a lower height where there's more oxygen. They can breathe easier, much better. What's this word altitude? It's an important word to talk about when we're talking about flying and high mountains and stuff.
So like you said earlier, it's the height of an object or place above the sea. So the sea's here, the altitude would be the distance from the sea, I guess.
That's right. It's how pilots measure how high they are.
Usually when you're on the airplane, the pilot will make an announcement and he'll be like, we're flying at an altitude of 40,000 feet.
It's more like, we're flying at an altitude of 40,000 feet.
Are you a pilot?
No.
No?
I can just talk like one. If you look out the left window, you'll see Mount Everest. All right, yeah, so it's how high you are above the ground.
And altitude sickness is a condition in which you cannot get enough oxygen from the air at high altitudes because remember we said the higher you go, the less oxygen there is. So when you have altitude sickness, you might find it hard to breathe. You might even get a headache. Some people say it feels like a hangover when you drink, like when you drink too much alcohol and the next day you feel like, oh.
You feel kind of sick, your head is pounding, you have a headache that won't go away. And it's even hard to sleep because sometimes you wake up and you feel like you can't breathe properly. So it's a very difficult thing to do. Yeah, absolutely. Well, what does Ryan do? He leaves him there. No, of course he doesn't leave him there. He transports him back to a safe altitude where he's taken to a hospital. So they load him into the helicopter and then they bring him down. Why do we know that? Well, because we used this verb to transport. Transport is T-R-A-N-S-P-O-R-T, and it basically means to move something or someone from A to B. For example, my father uses the bus to transport himself to the office every day. He takes the bus. bus. He travels by bus. Yeah. For example, we also, I should say, transport things as well as people, right? Generally, we do use it more for things, right?
More than people.
Many products are transported around the world on big ships. That type of idea.
Okay, and finally our article ends off by saying, thanks to Ryan's bravery, the climber is able to recover. Let's take a look at our final vocabulary word, bravery. B-R-A-V-E-R-Y, bravery. It's a noun and it refers to the brave actions or the behavior or attitude that shows courage and confidence.
Okay, kind of like courage. Courage, bravery, you mentioned that. They're basically the same kind of word.
We can use it in an example sentence. The soldiers were honored for their great acts of bravery.
Their great acts of courage. They did something dangerous. Even though there was danger, they still went into action because that's what brave soldiers do. And we also saw thanks to. When we're using this phrase thanks to, we're basically saying it's because of this we were successful. All right? So we're sort of giving the credit. We're respecting or honoring the person or the thing or the situation that made things work out, that made things successful. So thanks to my friend who picked me up at the airport, I didn't have to wait 20 minutes for a taxi or something. It's because of my friend that I got home so easily. It's because of Ryan that this man was able to have his life saved. Yeah.
So we've come to the end of our article, but stay tuned because we still have our For You chat.
Yay.